Whiskey is made all around the world, and the places that produce the most of it are Scotland, Ireland, USA, Canada, and Japan. Welcome back to All in 5 Minutes, and in this video I'll tell you more about this fantastic drink. The first written record of whiskey appears in Irish chronicles, which describe people drinking it in 1405. The first evidence of whiskey production in Scotland dates back to 1494, however this whiskey was not allowed to age and it was very potent and not diluted. Nowadays whiskey is a much smoother and pleasant drink. At first the whiskey production was controlled by the king, and later it moved into the general public. In 1725, when taxes on the whiskey production rose dramatically, Scottish distillers started distilling whiskey at night when it was difficult to see the smoke from the stills. For this reason, the drink became known as moonshine. It is estimated that at one point half of the whiskey produced in Scotland was illegal. The whiskey production process differs depending on the whiskey type you are making. Each distillery might also have its own specifications. The production of malt whiskey involves malting, when a raw grain is moistened and allowed to malt, which is a process when the grain germinates and releases an enzyme that converts it to sugars. Afterward, the grain is heated until it is dry. The dried malt is crushed and put into a tank filled with hot water, gradually increasing its temperature. The mash is then stirred to help convert the starches to sugar. The resulting liquid is called wort. The cooled wort is filled into washbacks where yeast is added. The yeast feeds on the sugars and produces alcohol and other compounds. The fermentation process takes about 2 days. Distillation is the technique of heating a liquid to separate its compound substances. The simplest distillation device is known as a pot still, consisting of a single heated chamber and a vessel to collect the purified alcohol. Another still variety is column still, which behaves like a series of pot stills formed in a long vertical tube. Column stills can yield a higher alcohol content than pot stills. Whiskey only matures in the cask and not in the bottle, so it can be aged only before bottling. This aging process signifies how much the cask has interacted with the whiskey, thus altering its taste. There exist many types of whiskey. Here are just a few. Malt whiskey is one of the most popular whiskey types, and it is mostly produced in Scotland. It is made from barley, distilled twice in pot stills and later aged in oak casks for at least 3 years. Grain whiskey can be made from any type of grain, and it comes from Scotland and Ireland. It contains fewer flavors than malt whiskey and is usually made for the production of blended whiskey. Blended whiskey is made from a mixture of other whiskey types, and it usually comes from Scotland and Ireland as well. The taste of the whiskey will depend on the whiskey types that are used in its production. Bourbon and Tennessee whiskey is produced in the USA. Bourbon contains at least 51% corn and some barley and wheat or rye. Tennessee whiskey is additionally charcoal filtered before it is filled into casks. Some other whiskey types are rye whiskey, corn whiskey, single pot still whiskey, and oat whiskey. Drinking whiskey in moderation may have some positive effects on your health. Some research suggests that it can aid weight loss, prevent dementia, protect heart health, reduce the chance of diabetes, and reduce blood clotting. Drinking too much whiskey will be harmful to your health, and it can lead to liver damage, addiction, and other serious health problems. Do you know anything else about whiskey? Leave it in the comments below. There is still a lot to learn about whiskey. You can find out more about it from the playlist on your screen or in the description. If you would like to learn about something else in 5 minutes, you can follow this video YouTube suggests specifically for you. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.